there. Joining us now, the governor of that state, Republican Alaskan Governor Mike Dunleavy. Good to see you, sir. We appreciate it. I shouldn't say see you, but hear you as you're joining us via phone from Wasilla. Help us understand what was the decision process you had. We had the travel ban and the non-essential travel ban in Alaska, and now to beginning to reopen.
So we have probably the lowest numbers in the country. We have, as of yesterday, 339 total cases, 9 total deaths, and currently we have 121 active cases. And so this is all about absorbing the blow of this pandemic. If you remember, a month and a half ago, it was we were waiting for the big wave to come in, and we had to make sure that we had the healthcare capacity to deal with that blow. Well, we have the healthcare capacity. Less than half our beds in ICU are filled. We are getting shipments in of PPE. We're getting more testing and testing reagents. And so we believe that we can do a gradual, step-by-step process of reawakening the economy. Because as we said up here in Alaska, and I'm sure other governors have said, 1A is the pandemic, 1B is the economic disaster. That's
we have some numbers right now about the disaster that is happening throughout America, but also in Alaska, which, as we all know, economically faces its own very, very unique challenges. We're looking at some beautiful pictures of your state right now. 13,000 people roughly in Alaska last week filed for those unemployment benefits. Certainly there's a lot more who've been impacted by this. The double whammy is, of course, the fall in oil prices, and Alaska has a huge oil and gas industry. How bad are things up there right now, sir?
So economically, it's going to be tough. As you mentioned, oil prices have dropped dramatically. The cruise ship industry, which was growing in a large sector of our economy, has been stopped. Tourism is going to be problematic. We have a fishing industry that a major fishing industry that we're going to try and keep going for the food supply chain and putting people to work. But it's not good. And so that's why we can't lose any more of our economy. And that's why we're going to start reopening, and we'll open up methodically. We'll use data to drive our decisions. But right now, our numbers, we've kept them under control, probably as well or better than other states. And that's not gloating. It's just the way it is. And so we have to get things up and running again.
Alaska is certainly such a unique state, and as you point out, cut off from so much of the world in various ways. The only way to reach a number of the villages up there, especially during the winter, is by air travel. I had a conversation with the CEO of Raven Air, which has about 70 airplanes that flies throughout Alaska. They've declared bankruptcy and said that they're going to have to liquidate here in the next week or so. Is there going to be an infrastructure for the economy to come back to and to fly all that fish and the goods and everything else that create the industry there?
Well, we've got to stop the free fall here in Alaska and across the country, and that's part of the reopening process. But you're right. We have about 150 to 200 communities that have no other access except an airplane. And some of those communities are well over 1,000 miles away from Anchorage, Alaska. That's how big the state is. And so without air travel, it's a problem. And Raven going bankrupt was a blow to Alaska. It was a blow to the economy. But again, Alaska, I tell people this, Alaska's been used to disasters. Unfortunately, we just deal with them: earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, fires, floods. And so we pull together, and we usually come out of these things stronger. It's going to take a little while, but we've got to stop, again, the free fall in the economy, because that's going to be probably just as devastating, if not more so, over the long run for Alaskans, their mental health, their emotional health, and their physical health.
Yeah, as we've been talking, we heard from the White House trade advisor earlier today on Neil Cavuto's show that how poverty breeds real problems when it comes to both mental health and physical health that you pointed out. Just before we let you go, Alaskans are known for wanting to do it on their own and picking themselves up by their bootstraps, as evidenced by so many people who live out in the wilderness and in the bush. But what do you all need from the federal government that you're not getting?
Well, we're getting testing and we're getting PPE, but as you said, we've always taken things into our own hands. We always understand that there's always the possibility that, given the distance and the isolation, that we're going to have to handle things. And so we're making swabs internally in state here. We are looking at making some of the vials, some of the reagents, some of the PPE. We're getting shipments in from other countries as well. So we get a lot from FEMA. Don't make any mistake about that. But we never wait around for folks to help us.
Governor, I appreciate it, and I know that you all will be doing a lot to try and rebuild the economy there. We'll have you back on here throughout the next couple of months to talk about it, sir. We appreciate it. All the best.
Thank you very much.
All right. Jillian?